Hi, everyone. Welcome to Alumni Day or Alumni Night 2021. We're going to be starting in a few minutes. I'm going to be just playing a short video, a video montage of a few of our alumni in just a few minutes as a few of us enter.
For right now, if you could just keep yourself on mute. Also, if you want to share your video, go ahead and share your video. I'm sure you might know some of our alum and you kind of want to show them a friendly face. Go right ahead. But yeah.
Hi guys, my name is Sydney Gold. I graduated Edison High School class of 2019 and I'm currently a sophomore at Rider University with a major in organizational psych.
Hi, my name is Victor McGinney. I'm at Edison High School class of 2018. I know y'all see the shirt. I'm a third-year student at Rutgers University, majoring in computer science, minor in critical and social studies.
Hi, my name is Fiona Lesman. I graduated in the class of 2020.
My name is Fred Patel, and I go at Brittle International University. I graduated EHS in 2020.
I'm Christy. I graduated from Edison High in 2019, and I am currently a sophomore at Stevens Institute of Technology.
Hi everybody, my name is Samir Rahmani. I graduated class of 2020, which was last year. College I'm currently attending is Rutgers University in New Brunswick, specifically SEBS, which is School of Environmental and Biological Sciences. And my major is public health and soon to be minoring in psychology.
Hi guys, my name is Sarah. I'm currently a sophomore at Rutgers studying health administration. I was part of the graduating class of 2019.
Hey guys, my name is Sejal and I graduated EHS in 2019 and I currently go to Rutgers, New Brunswick and I'm majoring in finance and business analytics and information technology with a minor in music.
EHS prepared me for a lot of things like for after high school. It doesn't matter if it's with schoolwork or getting things done on time or asking for help, but it prepared me to work hard and always get out of my comfort zone and seek help from others. Then that it's okay to ask for help when it's needed from either test group class or college or anything.
What I would say I learned from my experience at EHS is that benefiting me now is the importance of networking. You know, definitely be close with your teachers when you can, because they're going to come in hand when you need letters of recommendation, things of that nature in the future. So try to be real close with your teachers when you can.
One thing that really helped me in EHS was taking AP classes and doing sports such as track. For AP classes, it really helped me take for the first semester in college because I really knew what I was doing.
My relationship with staff at Edison High and classmates definitely taught me a lot of life lessons, the good, the bad, and maybe just a couple of life hacks that definitely are things that I still apply right now in my college career, and how I work with others, how I communicate, and just how I manage my own time.
So EHS really prepared me for the rigor of college work so that when I went to college, I wasn't completely overwhelmed because I was kind of used to the workload and the difficulty. And another thing EHS taught me was to be a well-rounded student by just getting involved in different things while also keeping my grades up at the same time. So I was able to learn time management skills early on, which really helped me to do well in college.
A positive affirmation that I want to share with you guys is to not only work hard, but have fun. Because certain things you can never get back from going to football games or basketball games or to helping out with any school events or clubs.
The best advice that I could give is to not just take classes that are interesting to you, but also to find what's interesting in every class, because that really helps with learning the material.
I know it's pressing times with the pandemic, and a little bit of encouragement I'll give to you guys is just try to make the most of this time. You know, even though everything's virtual, try to work out if you can, read as many books as you can, stack up as much money as you can. Just try to make the most out of everything now.
That you can only grow from these hardships. I've gone through a lot, everyone's gone through a lot, and growing from these hard moments are the path to becoming someone that you and everyone around you are very fun. So keep your heads high, Eagles. You'll be fine.
I guess some words of encouragement and like a lesson that I took from 2020 that I want to kind of pass on to you guys is that you just shouldn't feel limited with whatever situation you might get in. And I know that's probably easier said than done just because we're like physically limited, like staying at home and stuff. But one of like the biggest things I remember Edison High would always kind of emphasize is like, what kind of impact, what kind of legacy do you want to leave on like your community as you like, move on to college and especially like beyond. And, you might be questioning like, how can I kind of leave an impact or legacy when, we're like stuck at home and all that. But life is always going to be full of like all sorts of different situations or curveballs, and you're not always going to be in control of every situation that comes at you. And that being said, you should just try to find the best in every situation, no matter what. I think despite how bad 2020 might have been for all of us, I think something I really took from it was it kind of shed light on like all sorts of different situations within our community. And, if you're someone who likes to make an impact, or someone who just likes to be involved, whether it be at Edison High School or, within your town, you can still do that, behind a screen or at your laptop. So just don't feel limited and, don't let whatever's around you, neglect your own potential. So, yeah.
Make sure you get involved. I know it's harder to get involved now because, pandemic, but I'm in Greek life. I love it. It's definitely something you should get involved in. It's a really great way to meet people, and it's another they make do due to the pandemic. So I just want to say best of luck. Get involved, and I hope that everything turns out the way that we all want it.
And once you graduate, don't say you wish you did something. Say you did everything and more, and when you look back, you have no regrets from missing out on anything. And I know we're in the middle of a pandemic and certain things can be difficult, but coming from a senior that has graduated in the middle of a pandemic, it gets better. Trust me, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. So don't give up. Don't lose hope. You got this, Eagles. I believe in you.
So just one thing that I would like to tell all of you guys is to always seize opportunities and just get out of your comfort zone. Just never give up and keep persevering because things always have a way of working out.
I know that choosing a future path isn't the easiest thing to do in the middle of a pandemic, but if I can give you guys a piece of advice, it would be to be your own advocate, and that includes getting involved or asking professors for help. And if you do that, then it would really help you with your independence and with the future. And the last piece of advice that I have is often undermined, but it is very cheesy and it's true, but it is to study what you love. And if you don't know what it is yet, that is completely fine. And if it changes down the line, that is completely okay too, and it happens all the time. But if you do study what you enjoy, you'll be your happiest and most successful self, and that is what we all want to see. I wish you guys all the best of luck, and yeah.
All right, so again, thank you everyone for joining tonight's Alumni Nights, first virtual Alumni Day of 2021. So again, I'm Mrs. Muglia. I'm one of the school counselors at Edison High School. I have with me my co-host, Miss Agmana, our college counselor. I don't know if you guys, well, I did get a request from our current alum that if you could please, our current attendees, if you could please open your cameras so we can see your faces as we are reunited. I think this is maybe the first time that we are doing something like this. So if you can, we would love to see your faces. You can continue to keep muted if you'd like. But right now, if you don't mind, can our speakers and our alum just quickly introduce themselves by unmuting? Do you have the opportunity to unmute?
Yes. I can start. I'm Cynthia Bresney. Most people call me Sin. I go to SJU, and I'm a student athlete there, which is St. Joseph's University in Pennsylvania.
What's your major?
Psychology, and with a minor in criminal justice.
I can go next. Hi guys, I'm Sejal. I'm currently a sophomore at Rutgers, New Brunswick, and I'm majoring in finance and business analytics and information technology with a minor in music.
Hi, everybody. My name is Samir. I currently go to Rutgers University in New Brunswick. My major is public health and my minor is psychology.
Hey guys, I'm Christy. I graduated from Edison High in 2019, and I'm a sophomore at Stevens Institute of Technology, and I'm majoring in business and technology and minoring in comp sci and quantitative finance.
Hey guys, my name is Corinne. I go to Embry-Riddle University in Daytona Beach, Florida, and I'm in ROTC.
Karen, do you think you can turn your camera on, or is it not working today?
No, I can turn it on. Is that better?
Awesome. All right, so we're going to get started with some baseline questions, and then we're going to get into some of the questions that some of you may have posed in your registration form. So we're going to start with this first question. How can you compare what college professors are like versus your former high school teachers?
Yeah, I can answer this question. So in high school, teachers really take the time to get to know you, and they'll give you like personalized attention. And if you're not doing so well in class, they'll let you know, they'll advise you, they'll remind you when you have stuff due. But in college, you have to make that effort to connect with your professor. And most of the time, they're not even the people who grade your stuff. So they won't really know your name. They won't really know who you are unless you go to office hours or you email them and you make that effort. And they don't really check in with you or remind you of when you have stuff due. Most professors just post a syllabus in the beginning of the semester, and you just have to make sure you get all your stuff done in time. But like high school teachers, they are more than willing to help you just as long as you make that effort. So my advice would be to 100% go to office hours, just email them, keep in touch, ask questions, because they will help you. Like, for example, one of my supply chain professors last year, I would just go to office hours. Even if I didn't even have any questions, I would just go talk to him. And then like in one of my classes or one of the competitions, I was using something that he taught me. So I just emailed him to tell him that. And he was like so happy about it. And that actually really helped because I got some of my recommendations from him. So I would just advise you all to take advantage of office hours. Just reach out to your professors, keep in touch, because they can be really good resources just as long as you make that effort.
Right. What would you have done differently as a high school junior or a high school senior?
I'll take this question. I would have not been as shy or to myself. I would have wanted to ask my teachers for more help, I guess. That would have prepared me for college because, like Sejal said, if you don't ask your professors or get to know them, then it will be hard for you to grow that connection like you would in high school. I would also look at like ahead of a time. I know it's kind of like maybe for juniors, kind of like why is she telling me to look at college requirements as a junior? But just to look at them, just to get an idea, even though they may change yearly, but the basic ones are always there, like score-wise and everything. So I'll just look at those ahead of a time so you have an idea when you are applying and where you want to apply to. It doesn't hurt to prepare ahead of a time. So those are a few things that I would.
And how have your study habits, like how have they changed since you were in high school?
I'll take this one. Back when I was in high school, I just kind of would sit there and it would be like, I have this in 2 days. I can push it off. But in college, there's so many things coming at you at once. You really need to know when certain things should be done by a certain time and how to spread out what due dates you have and what responsibilities you need to have completed in order for you to not like overwhelm yourself, because if you fall behind, it's really easy for yourself to get really stressed out. So something what I would do is my entire life is my calendar, and it's really helped me figure out when I should get something done and kind of give myself a little peace of mind that I know what what's happening when, especially with everything being online.
Anybody else want to answer the question? Okay.
Honestly, I think Christy was pretty spot on with that.
Yeah. All right. Cynthia, can you tell us a little bit about being recruited to play a sport for college?
Yeah, definitely. So it's different for every sport, and it's definitely different for every division and every athlete. For me, I got lucky because I had college coaches reaching out to me. But if you definitely want to start reaching out to colleges the end of your junior year, like once summer starts, because in the summer before your senior year, and for most of your senior year, you're going to be going on official visits to meet the teams, to meet the coaches. Definitely. And if you're not getting responses back from coaches, email them again. Like, that's the best advice I can give you, because I've had so many college coaches say to me that it is that we get so many emails a day from prospective athletes that we're gonna miss a few. Like, we're gonna miss a lot, and we want you guys to email us again, because it shows us that you're serious and you care. And when you go on your official visit, like, don't be shocked, because of the official visit is your overnighter. Basically, what's going to happen is you're going to go to the college, you're going to stay in one of the athletes' dorms of whoever's going to be on your team, and you're going to be able to just meet the team, hang out with them, and just kind of like figure out whether or not that's the type of team you want to be on. And it's so important for you to like get a really good feel of like whether or not those are the people you want to spend the next 4 years with, because they could be your future teammates, and you want to be around people who are going to support you and who are going to be close to you and the college. And also, the sooner that you get in touch with the college coaches and the sooner that you get an offer, if like you're going to get an offer, the more money they will give you, because the more money they'll have in their budget for that year. So that's like a super important thing as well.
At what point in time in your high school career were like coaches reaching out or scouts reaching out to you?
Like, I was extremely lucky. For myself, I was talking to college coaches. I think the first letter I got must have been January of my junior year, because I don't think that they can reach out before that. So it's like, I think that, like, I know that there's a time frame. I don't remember, and it also, like, it varies per conference, like, because there's A10s and there's all the other conferences. At least for track, they can't reach out before January of your junior year, I think.
Can any of you tell us about how it's like being involved on campus?
So I'm actually in club sports, Greek life, and in a lot of different clubs. And with everything being online, especially since I am on like an e-board for one of the clubs, something that we really prioritize is making sure we're getting everyone involved and making sure it's not like a boring thing for people just staring at their computer screen all day, because it does get a little bit tiring after a while. But being involved on campus to me is really important, because it's where I made all my friends. It's how I built connections. Someone gave me a referral to an internship from someone I met through a club. So it's not only like a way for you to make friends, but it could be something that will help you in the future. And it definitely makes college a lot more fun, because with a lot of stress and classes and exams, a lot of these clubs will even have like study sessions to like help you out and kind of make things run a little smoother on your end and make yourself feel more mentally at peace. So I see a lot of benefits in getting involved.
Yeah, I'm in a couple of clubs too, and I'm in a music group on campus. And like Christy said, it's so great to be involved, because that's where you meet so many people, and you meet some of your closest friends by getting involved on campus. And like Christy said, people are so helpful. Like I have a couple e-board positions, and there are a lot of upperclassmen, and they've been so helpful to me. Like, when I literally didn't know how to navigate college, they were all there for me. Like the people in my music group, they all were just like, they're literally like my older brothers and sisters. They just like helped me. They told me like what professors to take, what classes to take, like how to, and even if I'm like really stressed out one day, they'll like be there to like help me and just like get me through stuff. So I definitely like recommend, like, please get involved, because again, you meet so many people, so many connections, and it just makes your college experience so much more enriching. Like it's so much nicer to just like get out there and like, and obviously now that we are online, it's kind of tough, but still like get involved, because like I know a lot of clubs, even though they're online, they still do stuff. Like some of my clubs, like we're trying to like reach out to people, we're trying to still hold our meetings, and for my music group, we started doing like online covers, even though we're not in person, and it's still a way to get to know people. And then once you do go back on campus, it'll be so much easier for you guys just to get assimilated into the college life, because you have people that have your backs and that just know who you are, and friends, basically.
So you all as alum have already experienced a huge transition from high school into college, and then like our current students first experience that transition from middle school to high school, and they're about to like approach this new change as well. So parent, like how do you feel that you were able to handle the transition between high school to college so that way you didn't feel overwhelmed?
So I did meet a couple of people like before I got into college, like during orientation. So on like social media, so I hit them up and like I'm like, hey, what's up? How you doing? Like, you ready for college? All that stuff. And then like kind of asking like what you're majoring in, like what do you like to do in your free time? Like find your interests, like similarities between them.
So it's just getting exposed to the campus and to some people that may already be there to kind of make that transition a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Awesome. So now we're going to transition, speaking of transitions, we're going to transition into some of the questions that our current students have asked. And so Mrs. Muglia, if you have any lined up.
Yeah, it's more of a follow-up question for how we're currently adjusting for, now that you're into your first and second year. Anyone can answer this, but this does follow up with Sejal's question or answer about the participation in clubs. How has it been affected by COVID? Like, what are you specifically doing? I think Christy mentioned finding an internship. So if at all, if it's been affected by COVID, and what are we currently doing in lieu of in-person meetings, club meetings, for example?
Yeah, so for some of my clubs, we still have meetings, but we just have them on Zoom now. And some of like our social events, we do like online game nights and stuff. It doesn't have the same effect, but it's still something just to keep us connected. Like I know for my music group, it's really hard to make music when you're not all together, but we had to like shift to online, so now we have this like whole like virtual software where we just mix the music and stuff. And since it's like harder to like bond with each other, we try to do those regular like game nights, movie nights, and just talk with each other so that our new members do feel comfortable as well. And as for internships, honestly, for me, I feel like it's been kind of easier online just because it's easier for me to balance stuff. And like for example, if there are like 2 events at the same time, or like I have an internship like call right now and then a meeting at like the same time. If I was on campus, I would have to take a bus, and Rutgers buses are notoriously horrible. So I would literally have to leave like an hour between like 2 things just so that I can make like both of them on time. But now I can literally just like go to 4 events at the same time, like next, just because I just have to switch the link. So for me, I would say that it's kind of been easier just to get more involved online, because I can go to like so many more events without having to worry about the commute time.
I'll add on to that. So I'm in ROTC, so like every Wednesday we have like drills, so we gotta like be like severely distanced because we can't like march together. So kind of makes it hard for everyone. So before, like, we had like PT twice a week or physical training twice a week. So now we only have like one in-person physical training and one virtual. So we got to do it on our own.
How many hours per week? Sorry, my question was how many hours per week do you currently do for physical training?
So physical training starts 6 a.m. in the morning and we end like probably like around 7:30. Depends on what we do that day.
Gotcha.
I guess I'll add on to that question. If there are anyone that is interested in Greek life, we still did our recruitment online. Some fun things we did were like we taught an online dance class. Something that is very important to Greek life is doing stepping. So we did an online stepping class. I'm the philanthropy chair, so something we did was we all made motivational like pictures on Canva, and then we would share it with each other. And as in for like other clubs, I'm a social chair for another club, and something that we wanted the freshmen to really remember is that like even though we can't meet them in person, we still want to get to know everyone. So we had this thing called Big Little where we would pair a upperclassman with an underclassman to be kind of like a mentor for them. So when they come back on campus, they have an older student to look towards to help show them the ropes and get them more comfortable. And we tried to reach out to people so like they would know that they aren't just alone, that a lot of people want to be their friend, we want to meet them, we want them to be involved and to enjoy being in the clubs.
To add on a little bit to what was already said, from going to be a senior in the class of 2020 to just being straight online and joining clubs and everything. So at Rutgers, they had like this huge thing where like, well, it's not really huge on their Instagram. Like they posted like the link with all like the clubs and informations and everything. Like it was said before, everything was on Zoom mainly. They're like game nights and stuff like that, but I would recommend if you do join a club, and there's always group chats and stuff like that, and I guess from those big group chats you make smaller ones and you meet more people, and it's actually kind of more exciting when you get to see them in real life. They're like, oh, you're the person I was talking to for like an entire semester online, and you get to know them, I guess, a little bit more, and it's not as hectic in like the seeing and try like so many people. Like you get to talk to somebody one-on-one a little bit often. And how Christy said, there's big and little. So in the club that I joined, I hopefully will join more, but the one that I joined was MSA. I was part of it in high school, and so I started it again in college. And so I had a big, and it was actually kind of fun. Like she dropped off a basket to my house. And like I got to like meet her, and now I have like somebody that like I could like an older sister type figure, like, oh, I could like ask her for like help or anything. So it was an experience, but from doing clubs online at high school and now doing them in college, not really much changed, but it's an experience and something that I would recommend if you guys are hopefully not online like us, but if it does happen, then I would do it.
So it sounds like extracurriculars is really it's a main component to the transition into college life. So a follow-up question, since you mentioned you did MSA when you were in high school, so anyone can answer this. What kind of extracurricular clubs or co-curricular clubs, sports did you guys do during high school, and how were they directly related to either your major or what you currently do in terms of your interest?
Well, in high school, I was in the STEM Academy and in robotics and in Science Honor Society. So pretty fitting that I went to the Institute of Technology. But my major is actually not a engineering major. I'm in business and technology with concentrations in computer science. So the clubs I joined in high school, I honestly kind of just use them as a way to see if I liked it. It wasn't more, I didn't kind of concentrate on, is this where I'm going to be in 20 years? Because to me, it was kind of scary. But it definitely showed me that coding and stuff were things that I was interested in, but I wanted to work in business. So going to Stevens for business and technology kind of worked with all the clubs and extracurriculars I did at Edison High.
Did you do DECA when you were at Edison High?
I'm going to be honest, I didn't really know DECA existed until my junior year. So I was like so deep into robotics, I was like, I'll just put all my energy here for now.
Sejal, you did DECA, right?
Yeah, I did do DECA. DECA is actually pretty new though. I think it only came my sophomore year. So yeah, I only joined my junior year. But yeah, DECA is probably the most like helpful for me because it like taught me more about business. Even though I usually competed in the marketing events, but now I'm in finance. But yeah, I love DECA. So yeah, I did DECA. I was in a couple of honor societies, and then I was in choir, and I did Peacock Society. What Peacock Society was just like a fun, relaxing thing for me. Just a nice culture. Just nice to like get involved with my culture in high school. And then choir and all of the music stuff I did in high school made me know that I definitely wanted to do something musical in college. So I joined a music group, and I'm also minoring in music just as a sort of like relaxing thing for me in the chaos of my double major. But yeah, definitely getting involved in high school did teach me time management, which is very crucial in college just because there's so much going on. And yeah, now like just by being so involved in high school, I feel like it really made college kind of easier for me just because I was kind of used to all the like constant stress. So it just like helped me manage everything.
Awesome. Thank you. So I'm going to move on to backtrack to your senior year when you were a senior in high school. What resources would you say you tapped into during the college applications process? What advice would you give to our current Eagles? And before any of you answer, I'm going to give you guys some time for the participants. If you want to type in some questions for our panelists, you can do so now, and then I will read through them. If you want to turn on your cameras, I'm again encouraging you to do so. So again, what kind of resources did you tap into? You can say school counselors and college counselors, but what was your process, during the college applications process? And did you have to state your major when you were applying? Yes or no? Did it change at all? So that's a two-part question.
Well, my senior year, I camped in Miss Agmana's room. Like, I was literally in there almost every single day. It started off with me going, can you read my Common App essay? To me being like ranting about every possible minute thing that happened in my senior year in there. But Miss Agmana was really helpful. I'm not just saying that because you guys brought it up, but like she was very helpful for advice and encouraging me to apply for scholarships. Naviance actually got me a scholarship from Burger King. So I would definitely say use Naviance to your advantage because there's a lot of hidden gems in there.
For me, some of the biggest helpers were definitely my college coaches because I had the bonus of having my college coach as the AP Lang teacher, Mr. McCaffrey. So he read over my college essays and he wrote one of my recommendations. And it's super important to make connections with your teachers because you don't want to have it be your senior year and you need recommendations and you literally don't have any teacher that you're close with to ask. And then for the whole like declaring your major thing, I didn't have to declare my major for my school. I chose to because I knew that I wanted to be a psychologist. And then also like make sure you take electives that you're actually interested in. Like I took topics on human behavior with Glacken my senior year, and that was actually one of the deciding factors in what I wanted my major to be. Because I went into my senior year thinking I was going to be a criminal justice major and psych minor, and as soon as I took that class, I instantly flipped it because I knew that, like, once I took the class, I knew that I just loved psych and I loved everything about it. And it's just super important to like try out new different electives, because you might find something that you really like that you weren't expecting to like. A resource that I could say that I use is probably, like how Christy said, Miss Agmana. I did spend most of my time in her room, and it started off with me asking her questions about college and her trying to give me more ideas of where I wanted to go, but I had my mind set on Rutgers. And I guess if it wasn't for Miss Agmana and like all her help, I probably wouldn't be in Rutgers right now, because she would remind me with everything, with anything I have to get done or any information I need to get faxed to Rutgers, I would go to Miss Agmana. So probably take advantage of the staff. I know everything is online and through Zoom, but like email is still a thing. Don't be afraid. They're not gonna like bash you through email. They will be there to help you schedule a timing. But yeah, so that would probably be like the main thing. I did use other things, but like I said, Miss Agmana probably had it on her screen and I was just paying attention to what she was doing. So there is share screen on Zoom, so that could still happen for you guys. But yeah, just get close to staff and like teachers and everything, because it'll help you in the long run.
Anyone else want to answer that? I have a follow-up, which was, how did you prepare for SATs or ACTs, if you did? Or was that some memory distant? It's like kept away in a little box.
That's a memory I don't want to revisit, not gonna lie.
Oh,
you can answer, I'm sorry.
I spent a bunch of time studying for the SAT, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I didn't even use my SAT score. I didn't use my ACT score. So, I would definitely say SAT or ACT, it doesn't matter which one you use. Take the test that you think fits your test taking style. I'm someone who likes to just think fast, sometimes too fast for my own good, and then like for me, the ACT ended up just being a better test for me to take. For other people, the SAT was better. It's just a test score though, and it's not something, in my opinion, it's not the end all be all of your college admissions. There's a lot more that comes from your college admissions than just your SAT or ACT. Not to say you shouldn't do well on them, but it's definitely like it depends on the person, I feel like, and finding out what works best for them. And I learned late in my junior year that the SAT was not my test.
Add onto that a little bit. I know that like a lot. Okay, so I've talked about this with a lot of people, and it's kind of a consensus that, especially with the SAT, it's more like it feels like, okay, so like a lot of people get private tutors and like classes to take the SAT, and it's like SAT isn't testing what you know, it's testing how well you studied for the SAT. But a lot of people can't afford those classes, and a lot of people can't really afford the books. So I'm sure that if you got in contact with Miss Degenshine, she actually sells students books from the previous years, which is how I studied for the SAT. But also, a lot of colleges are test optional. Like, I think that all the colleges that I applied to personally were test optional, but I still submitted my scores anyway. It doesn't hurt to take the test, but it might not necessarily help you. You really just have to look into what colleges you want to go to and figure out whether or not they're test optional, because a lot of colleges do rely on GPA, weighted GPA. Some of them do care about SAT and ACT, the college essay, and it's really just trying to make yourself stand out. Like, that's definitely the most important part of your college application.
Yeah, I kind of agree with everything that everyone said so far. And also, I would say the thing that helped me on the SATs was just taking practice tests, because like I had classes for like a month or two, and honestly they didn't really help me as much as just taking practice tests, because again, like it's not really like the SAT is just such a weird test that you can only like you do well if you just have practice with the types of questions, because like a lot of them they just like kind of like trick your mind and stuff. So I would just say take as many practice tests as possible. Honestly, that's like what helped me.
So I'm going to jump in because someone asked what is the major difference between the SAT and ACT. So I'm going to do a shameless plug. We will go over those differences during our junior parent night, which is next Thursday. So for those who are juniors, that is my shameless plug. We will go over all of that. You know, what are the differences, fee waivers, and the test optional policy for some universities due to COVID this year. Let me ask another question. So this was also in the registration as well as here in the chat box, but someone asked, who here works, or, you know, this could be internships, I know parent unit, ROTC, and how do you manage, you know, doing the both? I would say that goes for Cynthia as well, you know, doing sports is, you know, like another full-time job. So how do you currently balance your job, internship, part-time, as well as your academic work?
So currently, mid like freshman year, my counselor that I have actually asked me to be like her assistant / type intern, which what I kind of was from Miss Agmana in high school. So I kind of got prepared for that through her. But it was, especially online, I guess it's easier because you don't really have to go anywhere, and they're more understanding with like everything being online. So as long as and they understand that you're a student as well. And they put your education and your academics before any job or anything. So if you tell them that like, hey, I can't make it tonight for a meeting, or if you have something that's like you need to give them and you tell them that, oh, you have finals the next day or you have an essay due, they completely understand because they were also once students. So I guess communication is key. And time management, if you're at home, it's way easier than it would be in person. I didn't experience it in person yet. Hopefully I will, but with my experience online, that's what it's been. And I would recommend it if you could, because I know some colleges have work study applications that you could submit as you're submitting your college application. So if your college offers it, I would do it definitely. And so, yeah. From the athletic standpoint, it's definitely hard and it's an adjustment because you have assigned practice times, and that's when you go to practice. Like it's not like after you do all your classes like in high school you get to go to practice after that. For me personally, I tried to set my classes up so that I had practice after my classes, but it doesn't always work like that. It's never going to work like that. And especially with your workload, because you get back from practice and you just want to collapse in bed and you want to sleep, but no, you have like mountains of homework. Just go to the library a lot. That's the best advice I can give you. I got to be on campus for my college semester. I was one of the lucky people, because my campus is a lot smaller and they had really strict COVID guidelines. So I actually got to be on campus, and it was just really difficult adjusting to being on my own basically and taking care of myself and having to remind myself like, hey, you have to go to practice, you have this class, you have to go eat, because you know what, you stop eating when you're in college a little bit. And it's just it's just definitely an adjustment. But if you can just stop mocking me, sorry, my mom's mocking me. If you can just get yourself a schedule, and if you can just like know when you have things due and know what you have to get done, like you'll be okay eventually. But it's not going to be fun at first. Like there's a reason why not everyone becomes an athlete in college. It's because it's extremely difficult, especially when you're a D1 athlete.
Yeah, I'll add on to that. So if you're an ROTC, then you got to also study knowledge every week too, like on different training days. So like every single week, you may get assigned different knowledge. So like it could be really hard. Like you might have memorized like a whole song or like a whole paragraph of an Air Force like handbook or something like that, and it's really hard.
So let me follow up with for those who have internships, what is the best way to find internship opportunities? When would be the best time to do so?
I could take this. So in college they have a lot of like programs specifically, and like major specific clubs that when you join they help you so much. So when I joined, the first club that I joined was the investment banking club at Rutgers. So they always brought it's like run by upperclassmen who already have like internships at really amazing banks and stuff. So they would all like help us, and they would like release like information about different opportunities. And at Rutgers they have this program called Road to Wall Street, which is like for a select number of like students, and they just train you, and they send like every week they send out a bunch of opportunities that you could just apply to. So for all the internships that I got and the programs that I'm in, it's because of the program that I'm in college. So definitely that's another reason why it's really important to get involved, because they really help you with finding internships and jobs and everything.
At Stevens, we had two internship fairs. We typically have two internship fairs a semester. So they always tell us that it's never too early to start looking for an internship. So going to those fairs are a good way to start talking to recruiters, getting more comfortable with networking. Making a LinkedIn account is very important, and helping you build a network and talking to people. And like Sejal said earlier, joining clubs. I joined a Society of Women in Business, but I also joined a society for scientists and engineers, and not even my major. I just heard from someone that they had an event where they were going to Boston for a conference, and some people were like, "Do you want to come?" And I said, "Sure." And it was a good way for me to go to my first in-person job fair. At the time, it was pre-COVID, and understand what the environment is like. Because even if it's early in your college career, it's good to get comfortable. So when it's time to like start pushing at it, you kind of know what you're headed into.
Thank you. So definitely getting involved is very useful. Having internships, you're gaining a lot of invaluable experience for your resume. So likewise, for our current juniors and seniors who are starting to think about how they want to set themselves apart, this would be related to the next question. What else have you done to distinguish yourself, in high school during the college admissions process beyond clubs? And since you mentioned internships, I'm thinking back to when summer enrichment programs, if you have done any. I remember, Sejal, you had done one at Penn State, and I wanted to go back from before. And if you wanted to give some information to some of our students about the summer enrichment program, what the title was, that'd be great.
Yeah, so I attended the Business Opportunity Summer Session at Penn State. It was 2 weeks, and it was definitely one of the best experiences ever, because we got to take college level business courses and participate in the stock market simulation competition and do a case competition, which really, really helped me once I went to college, because so in any interview, when I talk about like my story and how I got interested in business, that's like the thing that I mention all the time. I always talk about that summer program and how that's like what really got me interested in business. And also, I would say another reason that it helped me was just because it gave me so much experience, because in college there are a bunch of like case competitions that you could do, and just having that experience of having done one was really beneficial to me. And it's also a very, very cheap program, and it gives you so much at like a very, very small cost. So I would definitely recommend, if any of you guys are interested in business, even like just the tiniest bit interested in business, you should definitely apply to it. It's called BOSS at Penn State. It's only $50 actually, and it's 2 weeks, full of room and board, food, everything. You get to even see what a campus, like a college campus, is like. You get to see the dining halls, the dorms, and take college level courses. And it's so much fun too. They even took us to like this amusement park, and they brought us to a company. They brought us to EY, and we got to look around the company, and it gave me a lot of connections as well. So yeah, that program's a great program. I would definitely recommend it.
Great.
So I was in a summer program actually. I was in EOF, which is Education Opportunity Fund. And I was actually supposed to be on campus for like a month, but then COVID happened. And then so everything got moved to Zoom. Kind of like Sejal said, it gave me a little insight to how the semester would be and how professors are and how everything would work necessarily. It gave me a little like heads up in coming like to the freshman me that I was going to be, and it helped me like prepare a little bit more and think that like college isn't as like an easy breeze. It's more of like you need to be on top of what you need to get done. Nobody's going to be there like high school, like keep on sending Google Classroom reminders, whatever, anything. Like once it's posted, it's posted. You're not going to get a reminder about it. You your own reminder. I guess if it was on campus, it would have been more fun staying at the dorm and everything. But with the EOF, you do have to apply to it, and you have to like get into it through, I guess some colleges have it. I know Rutgers has it. I'm not really sure about which other colleges do have that program. Each college's programs are different. The classes that I took were just basic classes that like just basic prereq requirements before you would get. So I actually got credits for that, and it's all paid for. If you apply and you do get in, everything is paid for. Your dining and everything, so you don't have to give anything from out of your pocket or anything like that. So if you can apply to it, and if you do qualify for it, because I know there's certain qualifications you have to go through, and if you do like just look it up, each college is different. So if you do qualify for it and you can apply for it, I would. It was something that I do recommend, and it helped me a lot, especially with everything being on Zoom.
Oh yeah, just one quick thing I'd like to add. If any of you guys are actually interested in applying to the program that I did, you could definitely send it to me. I could look over it, like your applications or anything if you guys want. Yeah, just putting that out there.
Could you put your email address on the bottom of the chat box?
Yeah.
You feel comfortable sharing. When did you participate in that summer program? It was your rising senior year?
Yeah.
Middle of the junior. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Great, thank you. And I also I used to work with EOF. Ms. Samaya's what she mentioned before. They have a great number of different grant programs associated with EOF. Transitional freshman seminars. It just really helps prepare you for your freshman year. They also have like time management courses, stress management, academic coaching, and they work alongside with the TRIO program. It's another federally granted program. So I can give you more information on that later during one of our workshops. So let's keep going. When you were applying for colleges, how many did you apply for? Anyone can answer this. What was the deciding factor? Since there are so many to choose from?
I applied to, I believe it was 10 schools. It was very overwhelming because I was only really between 2 schools. A big thing for me was I didn't really want to go to a very big school. I wanted to go to a school that was smaller, and I felt like I could connect to professors or classmates in a more effective way. So for me, Stevens was a better option for me. The scholarship money is also a factor in how much money the school's giving you. I also kind of didn't want to go too far from home because even though it's nice to branch out, I also didn't want to go somewhere completely inaccessible because I still have my family in New Jersey. So yeah, for me, it was a lot of schools that I applied to, but it became pretty easy once you get all those results and you kind of compare them and compare what your offers are.
Thank you. Does anyone else want to answer that?
I was set on one school, which was Rutgers. Like, I was like my mindset. As soon as I walked in Miss Agmana's room, like she knew that from like off the bat. Mainly because it's like a family school. I guess everybody in my family went there, so it was like already written before I was even born that I was going to go there. But I did apply to other schools just to have them as backup, you know, praying and hoping I hopefully did get into Rutgers and I didn't have to use the backups. But I applied to, I think, if I'm not mistaken, around like 5 or 6 other schools besides Rutgers, so make it like 6 or 7 schools. Rutgers didn't really have a college essay, but I did write one and had to rewrite one and keep on writing one until it was good. Keep on sending to Miss Agmana. And I used it for other colleges, but so I would recommend applying to other schools, even if you have a target school like me. Miss Agmana like pushed me to apply to other schools because if there's slim chance you don't get in, then you have other schools to look at, and you're not just sitting there like, okay, I applied to one school and now I didn't get in, what am I going to do? So I do recommend applying to other schools, even if you have a target school and you have that school in mind. And maybe if you have like all the requirements and you know you're going to get in, I still recommend applying to at least like 2 or 3 other schools. To add on to that, I thought for my junior year that I was dead set on Monmouth University. Like, I had known the head coach since I was a freshman. Like, I'd been going to the campus every summer for a running camp, and I was dead set on it. And I ended up going to St. Joseph's University. So it's definitely a good idea to like apply to more schools and to just like look around and to just see what's out there, because I never expected to go to St. Joe's. Like, I was dead set on Monmouth. Like, I was convinced I was going to sign there, and that's not what happened.
Anyone else? For the out-of-state students, I know there's only 2. So what was the experience like in terms of going out of state, the transition, being away from New Jersey in general? What were your initial reactions if you got to go abroad or out of state?
It's awesome.
Just period. It's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's actually, I go to school in Pennsylvania. Like, I'm so close. I'm like a 2-hour train ride, an hour, 20-minute car ride. But it is nice. Like, I remember, like, I went to college and my mom was crying and I was like, please just go. I was like, I'm ready. I was like, I'm so ready for this. It's nice because I'm close enough to home where I can go there if I need to for anything, but it's also like, I'm not 20 minutes away. It's just like you feel like a better sense of freedom, and you definitely feel more like you're on your own. And it's just, I feel like it's a really important part of life to just fully be on your own like that, and like not be able to go home whenever you like. I could go home whenever I want to, but I don't. I miss college. I want to go back. It's just definitely a different sort of step that's super important. Well, I think it's super important.
Thank you.
Yeah, I go to Florida. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, so I go to Florida for college, so like the weather is much better over there than here, so that's what I like about it.
It's true. It's cold over here.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Next question is, did you have, for any of, during your senior year, did any of you have interviews during the college admissions process? And what were some sources that you looked to for either resume preparation or interview? If you have any websites or resources that you used. Sorry, my son is climbing on my back. If you have any resources, please do share, because we are eager to know.
Yeah, for interviews, sorry, Christy, do you want to go? Okay. For interviews, I just searched up sample questions online for the colleges that I was interviewing for. And I just did like a couple of mocks with people that I know. I did a mock with my mom. I'm pretty sure I did a mock with Miss Muglia too. But yeah, I just did a couple of mock interviews, just prepped for the questions that I found online.
I also did interviews for 2 schools. They were both very different though, because one was a very formal interview where, well, he said it was informal, but he was in a suit, so it was a formal interview where he was kind of asking about me, asking what I've done, why I'm applying to the school, And there's one where I did was very informal, where it was just in a coffee shop, and it was like a little coffee conversation. He bought me a little biscuit. It was nice. It was very comfortable. But something I would do is I actually would just Google, like, for example, University of Michigan admissions interview on Google, and sometimes there'll be some sample questions that people have done it already and will post what their experiences were. And I would kind of use that to get an idea of what kind of questions to expect, and I practice with my classmates. I think in my health class in my senior or junior year, we did like a practice interview thing where we kind of like telephoned around the room with each other. So those are always just get myself comfortable with talking about myself and making sure I'm talking myself in a better way and not being too modest and just kind of putting yourself out there.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely. If you are a current junior or senior, you're trying to apply to a summer program that requires an interview, I encourage you to make an appointment with your college or school counselor. We similarly can help you with those interviewing strategies and skills and look over your resume. We are using, we're using Naviance. There is a template on Naviance for resume building. However, we are going to transition to SCORE for the upcoming juniors. We're going to go over this tomorrow during our junior conferences. Schedule an appointment with us. Next question for the science majors. Hands-on classes, what sort of experience are you getting right now? I know one of you mentioned that, technically on campus it's hybrid. Some courses are in person, some are, lab-based. So if anyone wants to answer that, I'm going to mute.
Well, I guess if you count computer science as a science, we kind of have labs, but it being computer science, it's still on the computer. So some things that we've done is I've made a AI game on my computer. Our labs, at least with computer science classes, they'll give us like a project and we'll kind of work on it for a bit. I don't really have much hands-on stuff because it is computer science, so everything is tech-based, but we get a lot of experience with different softwares and like Tableau, Microsoft Excel, Python, different languages. So I can't really speak for like I know my sister is a pharmacy major actually, so her lab experience is more like she'll do like an online lab similar to what you did in high school where it's like an online simulation. I realized halfway through speaking that her example might be better, but she does like something that's virtual, it's a simulation, and then she'll do that lab during her lab time and discuss it with her TAs and her classmates. So that's really all I know really much for hands-on.
So sorry, Cynthia. You want to go?
No, you're good.
Okay. So I actually go to Rutgers, specifically SEBS, which is School of Environmental and Biological Sciences. So my major is obviously science-based, but it's public health. So it's less on the chemistry and bio side of it and more of like environmental type science. But you do have to still take bio and chem. So this semester I did take chem, and the experience, like Christy said, it's like an online simulation. Like labs would be like you would have to like go through the step by step and like write about them. It would probably be a little different if you were on campus. You would actually be in a lab and have to experiment with different things and not do it through a computer screen. But yeah, that's my experience with it. I guess workload wise, it would seem similar from I asked upperclassmen like that did take chem like in person, and they're like I asked them if like the workload wise it changes or if it's like the same, and they said like the steps and everything they try to find like the best of their abilities, like an online simulation that would be as similar to being in person. So I guess workload wise it would be the same, but other than that, yeah.
Thank you. Did Cynthia want to add to that?
I was just gonna add from my friend's point of view, because I had a lot of friends who are bio majors and they had labs, and I remember they would come back some days like after like a 3-4 hour lab just absolutely exhausted, and they would come back other days like, oh, that was like a 30-minute lab, that was so fun, we made pretty colors. And it's just like, it was just kind of funny just like having them come back and like talk about it. The lab, like they seem to have a lot of fun in the labs most of the time. Like it was less learning and way more hands-on. And for me as a psych major, we didn't necessarily do hands-on, but it wasn't book work. Like my psych class that I had last semester, since I am a first-year student, it was discussion. It was like mostly discussion, like just talking about like different theories, different psychologists, like Freud, like stuff like that. So it wasn't necessarily all book work, but it wasn't necessarily hands-on either.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to combine, there's a few questions that are related to money, scholarships, we mentioned briefly. Like the ones, for example, that you apply to, they have merit-based scholarships. But I'm curious to know is, how are you managing your money right now? Money management. We talked about time management. How's it going as a college student? What are some kind of indirect costs that are, we didn't really predict? And just, what is your experience in general, as well as financial aid, if you want to talk a little bit about that. So we will go over that too during our junior conferences.
I can proudly say after finishing my 3rd semester, I have not spent a penny on a textbook. But I've kind of been living off of online PDFs and old versions of textbooks that I've rented from like the library. I guess in terms of money, with COVID, even after high school, please be sure to fill your FAFSA out. Because if you forget, you could be missing out on some money. I didn't really get much money from the FAFSA, but then I did it again this year. And because of COVID, my school was offering like some money to help out students who are living off campus, which applied to me. And if you didn't fill out the FAFSA, you couldn't get the money. 3 of my 4 roommates did not get the money because they didn't fill out the FAFSA. But lucky for me, I did fill out the FAFSA and I got an extra $5,000 from my school because of that. So like, make sure you fill out your FAFSA every year. And I guess the other things in terms of money, when I was living on campus, it was a bit easier because I had a meal plan, I had a place to live, everything was just kind of there for me. But now that I live off campus, I have to worry about groceries by myself. I need to worry about like rent and the water bill and the electric bill and the Wi-Fi bill. And I guess after it's overwhelming at first, but I think same thing as I said earlier, putting everything on a calendar and seeing when things are due and how much money to spend. And I have like an Excel sheet on my computer to track my spending every month. Just staying organized of how you spend your money is the best way that I can recommend being responsible with it.
I also really want to stress the importance of the FAFSA because for me personally, if I don't fill out my FAFSA, I don't get my athletic scholarship. So it's like, that's important for me. Like I need that to go to college. So it's like, please fill out your FAFSA. It's so important. You have to do it every year. Like, even if you didn't get anything the first time, fill it out again, because you might get something the second time. And like, it's so important. It's so helpful, especially in New Jersey, because if you fill out the FAFSA, that can get you the EOF thing. Because if I had gone to school in New Jersey, I would have been able to do the EOF program like Samia did, because that is such a helpful program. It gives you so much money. It helps you so much with adjusting in college. And just please fill out the FAFSA. It's so important. It might seem stupid, but fill it out. Oh, and also the sooner you fill it out, the more money you get. So it's like, that's also an incentive to do it early.
So for me, like Cynthia just gave me a quick plug for EOF. Same thing with the FAFSA. I just filled mine out this morning. Okay. I may be a little bit late, but it's okay. I got it done. Like how she said, I needed to fill my FAFSA out to get EOF. If I didn't do my FAFSA, then EOF wouldn't be in the picture at all. It didn't matter if I applied and got in and I still didn't do the FAFSA, they still wouldn't look at me. They're like, we don't have anything to base you off of. So FAFSA could get you so many things. Not only like government will give you money, but like through a grant, like any grants or any like
like EOF, did help me a lot, especially money-wise and everything. And like I said, I did get through the summer program, so that helped me out. So fill out the FAFSA. Like, first time you fill it out, it's so much information. Second time I did it, everything's basically mainly filled out for you. It's just the certain small things you need to fill out on your own, but everything's already like automatically like there and saved for you. So it's just saves time. So once you fill it out, information saves. If you need to change it, you can change it. But if not, then yeah. So it's easy breezy after the first time. I know Miss Agmana sat through the first time I had to do it with my parents. So it was, and you could also meet with like counselors and everything to help if you need help filling it out. Like, don't be afraid or shy to email and ask questions, because it'll help a lot. And then standing at your computer for 30 minutes being confused upon a question, if it's yes or no or not. So yeah, fill it out, please, if you're a senior especially and you're applying to college.
And then wait, since we're also on the topic of scholarships, I don't know if the staff is doing this year, but I remember for me, my senior year, they had us fill out this questionnaire, and then we had to write 2 essays, and then they would put us in for a bunch of scholarships. I don't know if they've talked to you about that. Please do that, please, because that got me the money I needed to buy myself a laptop for college. And low-key, you're going to want a laptop for college, like, because you have Zoom calls. A lot of teachers do not let you Zoom on your phone. Like, they're very strict about it. And it makes all the difference. And applying for the scholarship doesn't hurt, because you might not get anything, but if you do get something, like, it's helpful. And you should just take every chance you can to get some sort of scholarship to make the financial burden a little bit easier.
I'm laughing, Cynthia, because we just had the presentation this afternoon. And like you got a scholarship, which is awesome, because a lot of the students I was like mentioning today, a lot of less than half of the senior class tends to apply for the EHS scholarships, which I think is crazy. So and definitely take advantage of that.
There's so many scholarships, and like even though they're like some of them like aren't that much. Like, I think I got like 300 and change, but it was still enough to get me a laptop. And like, it wasn't the best, but it was what I needed. Like, I got a laptop. It worked. Like, I could use Google. Like, it just helps. It helps in the long run.
All right, guys, you heard it here. No excuses. Send those applications in, my seniors.
Free money. It's free money. Like, you have to submit an application and submit 2 essays. And I know 2 essays are just like, it sounds like a headache, but it really isn't. And free money, basically.
I did my essays in the back. Okay, this is bad. I'm not encouraging this, but I did them in the back of Grillo's room during my calc class. They're not hard to write. Just do them, please.
Yeah.
None of you tell Grillo that. Actually, tell Grillo that. I want to see what he says. I miss him.
So, financial aid, we do on our counseling webpage. The videos are there. So there is a tutorial on how to fill out FAFSA. We had some workshops in October for seniors. Typically, you would apply for FAFSA every cycle. So before the summer of every year that you are enrolled in college, you have to fill out FAFSA and renew FAFSA. So for our college students, you have to do it at least 3 times. For master's students, you have to do it 2 more times. And it goes from there. You want to do it as early as possible, because money does run out. Same with scholarships. So the money coming from the federal government does run out. So you don't want to do it as late as like August before school starts. That's what happened to me. I forgot to fill out FAFSA one year. They were like, how are you going to pay for college? They canceled my classes. And then when I redid the FAFSA, I lost my work study, and that was free money. I mean, not free money. You had to work for that money, but that was a pool of money that I was eligible for that I lost because I filled it out late. So, Ms. Agmana, are you still doing your Fast for Fridays for students and parents?
Yeah. So we are still running them, but it's not as formal as it was last year for our seniors right now. It's really like whenever you can find an appointment, just go right ahead. Ms. Minsky and I at the college counselors are helping our current seniors as you complete the FAFSA. My suggestion would be, if you're kind of like hitting a roadblock with a certain question, or if you kind of can't go through, try to complete the FAFSA as much as possible. And then schedule your appointment. I'm taking appointments through Calendly now. So it's like calendly.com/Eleanor.Agmana. But schedule your appointment with me that way. If you need a little bit more time in terms of, because I think the blocks are about 30 minutes long. So if you need a little bit more time, just let me know, and then we kind of arrange something. But seek out the help that you need for this, because it's such an important form. And I'm assuming that a lot of students don't necessarily work. So, you're hearing things like taxes and W-2s, and you have no idea what that is. So, it's kind of good to have extra support as you're completing that form. So don't hesitate to contact anyone if you are running into any problems with your forms, because it's so important for you to complete, as you're hearing from our alum. So keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm. Okay. We have time for one more question. Does anyone have any other questions they would like to submit to the chat box, or if you want to unmute at this time? We have about 5 more minutes. There was a question on internal transfers, but I don't know if that applies to any of you. I know myself, I did an internal transfer the semester after I graduated from Edison High. Anyone want to answer that? Because I know that you're currently, when you applied, some of you might have declared your majors, some might not have. And then did you all declare your majors in your current school? Yes. Okay. So it's basically another like an application process, right, Ms. Agmana? We could talk about.
I think I remember that question, but that was specific to Rutgers, right? That question?
Yeah. So like if you were in the General College of Arts and Science and you wanted to go into the School of Nursing, for example, right, that would really depend on the policy of the certain university, whether or not they allow for you to transfer with your general ed credits. So you can always ask your school counselor about that as well. Okay. Were there any other questions before we ended? Do you have any other lasting comments or well wishes, advice for our students? I know you guys left a lot of really good words.
I had one thing just came to mind when we were talking about SAT, ACT. If you're taking the SAT, Khan Academy would be your best friend for a little bit. Khan Academy really helped me. Even though I didn't do as well on the SAT, I probably would have done worse. But the SAT is something that I would recommend, and doing it through Khan Academy is like doing like a few questions a day really does help, and it gives you like progress. It shows you your progress and everything. And somebody that didn't do well on the SAT, I took the ACT and did way better than I thought I would. And so, yeah, I recommend taking at least both once if it's possible. And if you maybe ask one of your counselors, there are fee waivers if you qualify for them. So take advantage of that, because I know a lot of people that are qualified don't even know that there are fee waivers, and they pay that money, and fee waivers are just sitting there in their drawers, just waiting to be used. So if you just ask your counselors and anything if you see you're qualified or anything. So I'd recommend doing that. But yeah, so it's a quick plug. I was at ACT plug for Miss Agmana for a while, so I do recommend taking it.
The best bit of advice I can give you guys, if you are living in a dorm, if you're fortunate enough to, like I was, what I did was I literally knocked on every single person's door, and I literally introduced myself. And that's actually how I met one of my closest friends. Like, she's my best friend. Like, we've already decided that we're rooming together next year. Like, I've slept in her room multiple times, and it's just like, it is. And the best part is, like, she's not on my team. So it's just kind of like I have somebody off of my team to spend time with. And it's just, college is so, like, you don't need a lot of friends, but college is where, like, you find, like, those lifelong friends, like, those friends, like, you made real connections with, because everyone's too miserable to start any drama, and it's really just, like, a nice time. Sorry, high school drama, not fun. But in college, it's a different friendship, and it's definitely, like, a different time. So, like, and you don't want to waste it by sitting in your dorm, not meeting people who are like you. And if you're not an extrovert, and if you're not comfortable knocking on people's doors, definitely just try to find it, like, different ways to make friends. Because you want to enjoy college with friends. Like, that's not college isn't something that you want to go through alone. Like, you want to enjoy it, and you want to be with friends.
Yeah, going off of what Cynthia said, she's completely right. I guess in my experience, I'm naturally pretty introverted. Like, when I see new people, I think run. So when I got to college, I kind of forced myself to be like, hi, my name is Christy. What major are you? And because when you're a freshman, everyone doesn't know each other. Everyone's trying to make new friends. Everyone's trying to meet each other. So they're not gonna be like, oh no, I don't want to be your friend. They're gonna introduce themselves. They're gonna try to build friendships. And like as I said earlier, going to those clubs is what's gonna help push you beyond like your usual people that you'd probably talk to, let you meet new people, let you expand like your reach, maybe like find something new you're interested in. And I think for me, something that's definitely like made my experience in college the best was getting involved and making those new friends, because in high school I definitely would not have been able to do that because I was usually very shy. So like I would definitely say push yourself beyond your comfort zone so you can, if even if you don't like it, you at least know you don't like it.
Cynthia, I actually did the same exact thing. I went on my floor just knocking on doors. And it was really funny because so I started and I went to the next door and I knocked, and then they came with me and we knocked on the next door, and then we just ended up knocking on every single person's door. And then we got on the bus, we went to college after together, we just went out to eat and stuff. It was so fun. But yeah, that's how I met my dorm group of friends. It was really fun.
I also want to just add to what Christy said about how nobody knows you. College is literally a blank slate. It's a clean slate. So if there's something about yourself that you want to maybe change, maybe something that you just don't like, it's kind of a way to do it, because nobody knows you. They have nothing from your past to hold against you. They don't have any predisposed, I don't know the word actually, the view of you. And it's just kind of it's just a fresh start. Nobody knows anything about you, and you can just be yourself without having to worry about people having other people's opinions in their ear, if that makes sense.
So for me, it was maybe kind of different because I stayed in state and 10 minutes away from my college. So people did know me, and I went to college with some people that are now, I went from high school to now my best friend. Me and her, we're both in the same college right now. But it's basically a clean slate, because things you just want to forget about and everything, and nobody's going to bring it up in college. Even if you do go to college with some of the similar people, nobody's going to come up to you and say, oh, remember that time you did that? No, nobody's going to do that. Everybody's trying to focus on themselves and better themselves and try to make new friends and everything. And joining clubs is a big part of that. Join something that you're interested in. Don't join something that oh, everybody else is doing, let me just join that. Join something that you're truly interested in, because you could make your closest long life friends to them. That's probably something that I did in high school and I'm currently doing now in college. So joining clubs that you actually want to do and are interested in, you can make really good friends from. And so yeah, that's what I recommend. So don't be afraid. No, everybody else is afraid as well, but they're not going to show it. So walk in there confident, even if it's through a Zoom call. Turn your camera on, show everybody who you are.
Well, I just want to say thank you again so much, our wonderful alum. We truly, truly appreciate you guys taking the time out. I know you have break right now. So thank you so much for taking the time out and addressing our little eagles. And we'll be in your position, some of our seniors next year. But thank you again. If any of you feel comfortable sharing your contact information, please feel free to do so. We can come up with you can put it in the chat for everyone. But we could also send it out to the students separately. That might be better, just so that they have it once this is over, they can't have access to the chat. So send me your email addresses. Actually, I have your email addresses, never mind. If you're okay with it, nod. Okay. And then we'll share your contact information with our students so that way they can reach out to you if they have any further questions. Awesome. Thank you again so much, guys. And thank you everyone for participating. We hope you got a lot out of our session today.
Thank you. Have a wonderful new year.
Bye, guys.
Yes, Happy New Year.
Bye. Bye, Miss Agmana. Bye, Miss Muglia.
Thank you for having us. This was fun.
Thank you.
I wish it was in person. I miss the in-person ones.
Fingers crossed it will be next year.
No, I hope so.
Mhm. Hey, Chelsea.
I will be there. I will like just.
I know you will be there.
Listen, if I'm not at college, I don't, because it's usually around this time and I won't be at college. I will be there.